Om. 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 Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Aim Saraswate Namaha. Om Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrasham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Saravadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Sadgurum Tam Namami. Adorations to the Divine Preceptor, who is the bliss of Brahman, the giver of supreme joy, the embodiment of Piva consciousness, beyond the pairs of opposites, vast like the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond all modifications. To that divine Guru, I offer my adorations in a humble Sashtang pranams at the holy lotus feet of Pujya Gurudev, Pujya Shri Swami Jyotirmayananda Ji Maharaj of Yoga Research Foundation, Miami, Florida, to Param Gurudev, Pujya Shri Swami Sivananda Ji Maharaj, our humble Sashtang pranams, and to all saints and sages of the universe, pranams, our humble pranams. Blessed Self, adorations. Today is day 4 of Sri Krishna Janmashtami also, while day 16 for the mystery of the soul, Katha Upanishad, translated into English by Pujya Gurudev Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda Ji Maharaj of Yoga Research Foundation. So the mystery of the soul, Katha Upanishad, day 16, mantra number 5. Just a little recap for mantra number 4. So we are still on the two paths, the two marg, Shre Marg and the Pre Marg. Shre Marg is the good marg, the good path that leads to liberation, whereas Pre Marg is also pleasant, but it leads you more towards the outer world enjoyments. So the path of karma is the sustainer of the world process. It leads to the attainment of illusory joys, temporary enjoyments. The world enjoyments are temporary. And almost like it says here that it's like selfish desires. You want to do something to get some desire or some enjoyment, some joy, for some benefit. You would like to take some actions. Whereas the path of jnana, the wisdom, is the cause of the cessation of the world process. So one takes you into the world process, which is the Premarg, whereas the Shremarg takes you out of the world process, and it leads to liberation and the attainment of infinite bliss. So Lord Yama says, "O Nachiketas, I promised you all the objects of enjoyment, but your mind was unwavering in its determination. Therefore, I am certain that you are qualified for the path of jnana, the wisdom." Remember, Nachiketas had said that I want the Brahma Gyan, the knowledge of the soul, for liberation. And also, Lord Yama had said, "You are my best disciple," because by age, physical embodiment age, he's only 5 years old, but in terms of soul, he is an old soul. He knows already so much and he's very determined. That's how we all should be, like fish out of water, like a very thirsty person who is in the desert and looking for water, where no matter how much money you have, nothing will work. And also about someone who is drowning, like there's a story behind. I just want to quickly mention that. An aspirant went to a saint and said, "I want to be your disciple and I want Brahma Gyan." And then this saint, I'm just saying in short, so this saint didn't know much about this aspirant. So he said, "So how determined are you?" And he said, "I'm very much determined. I really want to know, but at the same time, I still want to do some things and also be in the world." Then the sage said, "No, when you are determined, then you'll have to detach from the world process, like detach in terms of sense pleasures and enjoyment." Then he said, "I am determined." Then he said, "How much you are determined?" And then he could not explain much. And then the sage said, "Okay, go back. When you are ready, then come." Then he said, "No, I don't want to go back." Then he said, "Okay, let's go into Ganga River. Let's go take our bath and then we can talk more." So when they went there, the sage, what he did was, as soon as they were taking dip into Ganga River, when the aspirant was not dipping, then he said, take your dip, then I will tell you, we'll talk later. Because he kept questioning, so he said, "No, take your dip and then we will talk more." So as soon as he took the dip, the sage pushed him down and held him under the water. And the aspirant, he was like, "What's going on?" And there was, just in a short moment, he thought to himself that, "Okay, I will drown." And he was pushing himself out and struggling and doing all sorts of things to come out of the water. And then when the sage knew, then he stopped holding him, and then he came up and then he said, "This is what I wanted to know. Are you here to know or to get Brahma Gyan, the knowledge of the soul, just like you were gasping for air? You wanted your life so much. Is it that aspiration, that type of aspiration that you have for wanting to have liberation, to get Brahma Gyan and be liberated?" Then the aspirant knew what it meant, and then he said yes. So he bowed down and he said, "Yes, I am determined, and this is how much determined I am." So a little story here. So here, because therefore, when Lord Yama said, therefore I'm certain that you are qualified for the path of jnana, the wisdom. That means he was lured into wanting worldly pleasures, giving this, giving that, but Nachiketa was determined. So mantra number 5 is, so remember this is still chapter 1 but section 2. Mantra number 5. The ignorant, sunk in the darkness of ignorance, consider themselves wise and intelligent. They are dull-witted. They wander through the world. They are the blind leading the blind. The ignorant ones hold on to their objects of desire, wife, son, wealth, etc. They are overpowered by ignorance. They take the body to be the self, is the Atman. They are dull-witted, but they think themselves to be wise. They fall into the whirling wheel of birth and death and suffer from innumerable afflictions because they think they are right, they are correct. So they have not received instructions from realized sages and saints, yet they guide others. They lead others just as the blind leading the blind. The leader and the led both fall into darkness. How sad is that? Somebody who does not have the know-how, they still want to teach the other person. And it's not only about Brahmagyan, but if you take in the world aspect also, so many people talk and talk and talk. Oh, do like this, do like this, do this, do that. Even though they have not experienced, even though they don't know much, even though they don't know themselves, or they don't have the expertise, but they still want to be the lead. So, the men of desire are of two types. One, those who seek happiness by adapting visible means. And two, those who adapt invisible means such as the performance of yagna, etc., which generate adrishta or unseen potency that gives joy in heaven after one's death. So we had talked about this, that yagna takes them to heaven, and that's what Nachiketa's father was trying to do, yagna and dan, offerings, so that he could go to heaven. And Uddalaka, Nachiketa's father, Uddalaka. So here Lord Yama is also talking about the same thing here. Those who seek happiness by adapting visible means, and those who adapt invisible means such as performance of yagna, etc., which generates adrishta means or unseen potency that gives joys in heaven after one's death. So these are the men, humans, who have desires, which are two types. Those who do not believe in heaven, that means those who are determined to be liberated, means no more coming into the world process, or no more having an embodiment, and no more coming back as another being. It could be anything, human being, animal, bird, worm. So that's taking birth or coming into another embodiment. So those who do not believe in heaven, so because even if you go to heaven after death, you still will be born again after your positive karmas are burnt out. or even before that. It's really could be that you come back even earlier, but it is said in the scriptures, when the term expires, when it is determined to take another embodiment, that's the time that happens. So they who do not believe in heaven follow the path shown by the ignorant ones. They are Bahirmukhi. Bahirmukhi means outward, outgoing in nature. They believe only in perceptual realities. They want happiness and pleasure here and now. So those who want to go to the heaven after death and have pleasures there also. And there are those who want happiness only here. They don't know about anything. They don't want to think about after death. All they want is here. I know when I'm here, I'm seeing it, I'm enjoying it, and I want the pleasures of on the earth. And they want happiness and pleasures here and now. They take recourse to forbidden actions such as stealing, scandalizing, violence, etc., due to their attachment to son, wife, wealth, and possessions. They pave the way to hell. So here it is Lord Yama talking about that. How many of you know the story of Valmiki? Valmiki, the author of Ramayana, the original, the authentic Ramayana, and that was written by Valmiki. And Valmiki, before becoming a saint or a sage, he was a very bad person. Daku, a stealer, a murderer. His name was Daku Ratnakar. He used to kill people, those who would be on the voyage. He would kill them and take their wealth or anything they would have, and he would cut. And he was also called Unglimar. That means he would cut the finger and wear it in his neck also to mark the number he killed. And just again a short story. What happened was Sri Narad, the Lord Narad, you know how many of that Narad Muni. So he came. He is mental son of Brahma, and his name comes a lot in Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran also. So Naradji, he came on the way and went to Ratnakar. He said, "Why are you doing this?" And Ratnakar, he wanted to get hold of Narad and wanted to kill him. And Narad said, "Okay, hold on. What do you get out of killing me?" He said, "Well, I have to feed my family." And Naradji said, "Okay, you are doing this crime, this papa. You are doing this bad karma in the name of your family. So, will your family take part in your bad karma? Will they take some of your pap so that you don't go to hell?" Then he said, "I think so." And then Naradji said, "You sure?" He said, "Yeah, I think so." He said, "Okay, why don't you go and ask them?" And then Ratnakar said, "I know you want to send me away so you get saved. You'll run away." Then he said, No, I'll not run away. Tie me here to the tree. Tie me here to the tree and I'll wait. Go, ask, and come back and tell me. And if they say yes, then you can kill me or have whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Then Ratnakar, he did tie Naraji to the tree. He went all the way to his home and he said, I have come here early with nothing in my hand, nothing to feed you guys, but I want to ask you one question today. And his wife and family were there. They said, okay, what is it? And he said, I want to know that, first of all, I want to say that every day I kill people, I rob, and I bring food in the house. So in that process, I'm doing bad karma. So will you all share the bad karma also? Will you go to hell with me or share the karma so we don't go to hell? And everyone said, no, why should we? His wife, his children, all of them denied. They said, no, it's your karma or your duty is to feed us. And why do you kill? Why don't you do something else? And then he went back and he asked for forgiveness from Shinaraji and he said, I'm so sorry and this is what I thought and they're not going to take or share my pap, so I want to stop doing this. And then Srinaraji, he said, okay, you have to transform. And he said, I'm giving you the name of Lord Rama. Say Ram and do your japa and your pap, your bad karma will wash away. And he was such a bad person, bad karma, that he could not even take the name of Lord Rama on his lips. So he kept saying Mara, or opposite, like not Ra, Ma, but he was saying Ma, Ra. Because he used to kill people and all the Mara word means dead. And that's what he used to say. He would kill and he said Mar gaya, Mara, Mar gaya. And then Mara, Mara. So he said, oh, it's okay. Keep saying Mara, Mara, Mara. But then when it turned around to be Rama, 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 Ram. Mara, 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 Ram, Ram. So when it's said unbroken, then it turns out to be Ram also. So then he sat in a place and he was doing the austerity and he kept saying Ram, 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 Ram. And it became an ant hill that he was not shaking on him. All the ants started to make a hill all the way. But when there was a very heavy rain, after a long, long time, heavy auspicious rain, the ant hill washed away. Then he came out as a very, very brilliant sage. So he was named Valmiki, long hair. And so then that's how he ended up writing Ramayana. And just in a short way, just to say here that he's saying there are people for pleasures, for then they do bad things, and they are the ones who make their way to pave their way to the hell. So there are two types of Sakamya Karmis. Sakamya Karmis, those who perform actions in accordance with the scriptures. And that's number one. And number two is those who perform actions prohibited by the scriptures. Both do not know truth of Atman. So they do it perform two types of actions. Sakamya karma. Sakamya is for our own reason, for our own fulfillment. For that I will, oh Lord, I will offer you prasad, I will do yagna if such and such thing happens in my life. So it is a way of trading. So that is, even though it's performed in accordance with the scriptures, but it is not about the Atman there. And those who perform actions which is prohibited by scriptures, they also don't know about the Atman, and that's the wrong action. The former who performs virtuous acts are likened to birds that fly in the air to be caught again in the net spread by the fowler below. The virtuous aspire to the imaginary heavenly worlds, but the materialists vehemently deny the survival of the soul after death of the body, and they condemn any act that is said to be conducive to the good of the departed soul. So they don't worry about the soul. They have heavenly, they want heavenly enjoyments, but here, and they do sakamya means selfish puja and for their own reasons. O Nachiketas, these materialists have their gaze turned outwards. They are overpowered by lust, anger, greed, and other impurities. That is why they indulge in vain arguments, denying the authority of the Vedas and the truth relating to the existence hereafter. They do not find any world apart from this visible world. They speak evil of the Vedas and indulge in diverse sinful deeds for the maintenance of their families and relatives, like the Ratnakardaku. These men with outgoing vision come under the sway of death, just as a fickle-minded monkey ignores an archer who has an arrow ready for discharge on a bent bow. So ignorant men ignore the sway of death, but when the arrow pierces the body of the monkey, he becomes aware of his sad lot. Even so, man becomes aware of the tragic conditions of life only when the arrow of death makes him its target. Then, shot down by the arrow of death, he is thrown into hell to experience the fruits of sinful actions. So this is what Lord Yama is saying or teaching Nachiketas. So those who do bad karmas, they are thrown into the hell after death. These men with outgoing vrittis or thought waves, vrittis means thought waves, outer world thought waves, believe only in the authority of the sense experiences, but reliance on sense experience is fallacious. A candle does not illumine in the daylight, but this is not true in the night. The candle does illumine at night. The infallibility of the sense experience is false. Sense experience, even like a candle, fades in the daylight of intuition. By acts of charity and the performance of sacrifices, virtuous people go to heaven. But when they exhaust their meritorious karmas, they fall again into the trap of death and are reborn according to the nature of their remaining karmas. So here it is very well explained that virtuous acts, people who do virtuous acts, do very good deeds, they go to heaven for sure, enjoy the enjoyments of the meritorious karmas, but they come back into another embodiment. They fall again into the trap of birth and death, and they are reborn again and again while they continue doing this, and they are reborn according to the nature of their remaining karmas. So the performers of sinful deeds go to hell and are reborn among the less evolved beings. The atheists consider the physical body to be the self. So those who don't believe in God, don't believe in reincarnation, they are in a different category. They do not know about the soul. They think the body is the self, the body is the soul. They do not believe in heaven or existence after death. They revile the Vedas in different ways. So, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So this is completion of mantra number 5. It was long but very good knowledge given here, and we will continue. On the next day, which will be day 17. So we will read a small story from the glory of Lord Krishna, mysticism of Srimad Bhagavatam, and this again is translated into English by Pujya Gurudev, and this is day 4 of Sri Krishna Janmashtami. Divine love and worldly love, very much in tune with what we studied today in Katha Upanishad. So divine love and worldly love, the devotional language and imagery, the devotional language and imagery that is used to portray the relationship between Krishna and the gopis in Srimad Bhagavatam is the language of human love between a lover and beloved. This same technique has been used extensively in the Sufi literature of the Middle East as well as in the Bible, in the poetic Song of Solomon. That language portrays the soul as a lover longing for his beloved or rejoicing in the presence of his beloved. But it is highly symbolic and points to a state of purity that transcends all human limitations in love. So this is very pure love, the relationship of the gopis and Lord Krishna. People take it wrongly, but it is the soul as the lover, and the beloved is the supreme consciousness, super soul. So understand that this is where we want to have this purity, understanding that transcends all human limitations in love. That is what is the true love between the gopis and Lord Krishna. The imagery was selected as the best language that could be used to direct the human mind to the profound and verbally indescribable experience of bliss that is possible when the soul unites with God. The experience of love between lover and beloved is characterized by all-consuming, one-pointed longing that causes one to lose awareness of normal reality. If this is so for worldly love, how much more intense should be the experience of communion with the divine beloved. This is pointed out so colorfully in a Sufi parable. Once during the evening hours, a Sufi saint was seated on his special prayer rug, practicing meditation on God. Suddenly, a young lady who was going directly to meet her lover ran across the rug, accidentally dirtying, making the seat, we call it our our sadhana mat, asan. It's very pure, considered very pure, and she stepped over it and made it dirty with her feet in the excitement of her project. Seeing this, the saint shouted at her, "Are you blind? How could you defile my sacred prayer rug, my prayer mat?" The young lady turned towards him, saying, "Sir, please forgive me. I am blinded by thoughts of my lover, and therefore I could see only him. But please tell me, why is it that your love for God has not made you more blind than I am? You are seeing me and your prayer mat and my flight through the forest. Everything but God. What kind of love is that?" Hearing these words, the saint was humbled. Since the divine love of the gopis is portrayed in the amorous language of worldly love, it occasionally gives rise to various forms of confused interpretations. An uncultured mind tainted by the illusions of passion is unable to understand the lofty heights of devotional sentiment so poetically presented by the sages who composed the scriptures of devotion. A devotee does not love God the same way deluded souls love objects of the world. Madhurya Bhav, or a devotee's sweet love for God, is the positive counterpart of the intense, passionate love that exists in the world. In worldly love, the mind is clouded by passion, is clouded by the passionate illusion, and the light of reason becomes dim. And of course, it's so temporary, it's only for moments of that joy. In divine love, however, the mind is unclouded, and the light of reason shines brighter and brighter until it blooms into the divine light of intuition. So either you have intuitive knowledge, intellectual knowledge. So intuitive knowledge is intuition. So that is direct connection with the Supreme Consciousness. And then you hear that melody within your heart, within your ears. You are guided by that melody, that sound, and you will know there is no selfish reason, there is no physical attraction. World pleasures are only physical, up to physical level, and temporary. It's done and over, it's gone. Whereas this divine love is so pure that it never dies, it never ends if there is true divine love. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Samasta lokaha sukhino bhavantu. Om Krishnaya Vasudevaya. Hare Paramatmane Prantakleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Ahamevasameva Agre Nanyadeta Sadasata Param Pashadaham Yadetacha Yo Vashishyeta Sosmaham Ritertham Yat Pratiyeta Na Pratiyeta Chatmani Tad Vidyadatmano Mayam Yatha Bhaso Yatha Tamaha Yatha Mahanti Bhutani Bhuteshu Chavacheshvanu प्रविष्टानि तथा तेषु न तेष्वहम् एतावदेव जिज्ञास्यम् तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः अन्व्यव्यतिरेकाभ्याम् यत् स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो नारायणाय. ओम श्री कृष्णाय नमः. ओम श्री गुरुवे नमः. samastalokaha sukhino bhavantu. Divine love, light, peace, prosperity, equanimity, healing. May your spiritual life be steady and yet climbing up and up to the heights for self-realization. Shakti, Bhakti, Mukti. Blessings to you and your near and dear ones. Hari Om Tat Sat. This is Swami Lalita Priyananda from Sacramento, California. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Krishna Jai, Krishna Jai, Krishna 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 Radha Jai, Krishna Jai, Krishna Jai, Krishna 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 Jai, Krishna Jai, Radha Jai, Krishna Jai, Radha Jai, Krishna Jai, Radha Jai, Radha 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 Jai, Krishna Jai, Radha Jai, Krishna 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 Jai.